Alright, here's a video of the black soldier flies. Very much so enjoying the cat food, dried cat food kibble, which is, some of it is from the Dollar Tree and some of it is some that somebody gave me that their cat didn't like. It looks like it was a more expensive name brand type thing. Just thought you guys might want to see what they look like feeding. Sorry about that sound, my battery is low. So at about 1 minute I am going to change the image focus and color and stuff, see if I can get it a little better. Alright. That's a pancake also. I don't normally give them pancakes, but oh, come on. Yeah, see, I can't go too far this way. I cut a hole in here to take a picture. Maybe if I prop up this side instead. It's like just out of range. I'm trying to prop it up with different things. Let's see how that looks. The reason of the quality is because if I zoom out, this is what it actually looks like. And I can mess with the color a little, but I think it looks best like that. And I do have a fan blowing, so you may hear that fan. If you do, I apologize, but I don't want to turn it off because they're using it. But yeah, it definitely looks like that fly that's on that cardboard rubber banded. It definitely looks like it's trying to deposit eggs into there. That's not the only place. I have so much cardboard, like rolls and popsicle sticks with spacers rubber banded together and everything, to give them as many different opportunities for various locations to lay eggs, so that hopefully they'll choose someplace. I figured I would put some right down in the food just to see. And that's pretty funny that it appears to be laying eggs in it. I have seen a lot of videos where people will set the sticks or boards, whatever, like going across the larva container, and they seem to have good success, but at the same time they've got tons and tons and tons of flies. And I mean, if 1% of their flies laid eggs in there, that would be more that would be more than I would get in total. So I may try doing that thing where I have cardboard strips that go across. In case you're wondering, yes, I do have fly larva that is either hatching outside of this bin or is crawling out of the bin, and that's one downside to the way I have this designed. which is containers in a bin. I really like the concept of containers and bins in general for bugs, because it means you can take out a single container and do something to it and put it back in. You can also provide multiple isolated conditions, like you could have one container that stays wet, one container that stays dry, one container that's kind of damp. You know, you can have, you could essentially have a container full of nothing but cardboard strips. You could have a container of paper towels. You can have a container of food. I mean, it's whatever. But the biggest downside I'm seeing right now with this strategy for black soldier flies is, because the flies fly and because the larva can crawl up sides, is that the ones that are outside of this bin, there's no guarantee that they'll make it into the bin with all the food. I did drop one little piece outside of the bin, which is corn flour and cornmeal that I hydrated and then let it dry out. But you probably can't notice in the video, but I do also have grain mites, which I absolutely hate 100%. I can't stand grain mites. They're the worst thing in the world if you're raising any kind of insects, whether it's mealworms, crickets, black soldier flies, superworms. It really doesn't matter. Even if you just have food, they're bad for humans for eating their food. They can be in fish food. There's also book lice, which will eat fish food and other things. I recently had an infestation of that, and I put all the fish food on a paper plate and put it in the microwave, and I watched it hoping it wouldn't catch on fire, and I saw all the little mites running around like crazy, and then all of a sudden they all stopped, and that's when I took it out of the microwave and had to open the doors and windows to vent the smelly smell of fish food. And then of course I wiped down the inside of my microwave. Then I put it in a Ziploc bag with paper towels actually it's a freezer bag, and left it in my freezer for several days just as an extra precaution. And then I took it out, and I've been monitoring it pretty much every day to make sure that if there is any condensation or anything that forms, that the paper towel should have absorbed it, but there was no problem. But I'm still leaving the paper towels in there. Yeah, I hate pests. I absolutely hate pests. Black soldier flies are not a pest. Mites are definitely a pest. Luckily, I've never had the red blood-sucking mites. I've only had the grain mites, but there's really no way with my setup that I can extinguish the grain mites. So they're going to continue to grow by the millions. I don't know, I guess when I eventually have a whole bunch of decent-sized larvae, I could rinse them all off underwater and put them in a separate container. That's what I've done with mealworms to get rid of the mites. The main thing is you'll get them again if you don't set up a way that when the grain mites are walking towards the food, they either get stuck in tanglefoot, which is a resin. I have it in one of my other videos I showed. It's basically like fly paper, but it's in a little plastic tub that you can wipe onto things. It's a real pain to get off your hands or anything. Don't use Vaseline. They will kind of collect near it and kind of stop, but that won't stop them. Oh, gotta plug in my phone. drop some frames. Hopefully we'll stop dropping frames. I think it's okay now. I think it's just the way they're moving is kind of awkward. Yeah. So I figured, the funny thing is that a lot of people will make videos of black soldier flies eating, but they don't make the videos very long. So I'm going to try and make this video as long as I can stand it. Only talking about them or being silent. Also, of course, the bad thing about me making this video is that I've turned off most of the blue light. Let me see if this makes a huge difference. I don't think that makes a huge difference. That does give them some more blue light. So the funniest thing I've learned about black soldier flies is something I discovered on my own, and then realized how obvious this is, especially anybody who's not into black soldier flies but just knows bugs, like not really know them, just like anyone in the world pretty much. So yes, it is true that they only really can see and make use of the blue and green spectrum of light. Mostly this is in the cyan color range. It says like lime green, cyan, and blue, but cyan is in the middle, so you know, whatever. The other wavelength they can do is ultraviolet, not to be confused with infrared. Ultraviolet is the violet color, purplish, and guess what puts out ultraviolet light that flies are attracted to? Bug zapper. That's right. When you think about it, it's extremely obvious. You want to attract flies, you get a bug zapper, and the flies will be attracted to it. The bug zapper is on the right side of this, or let's see, from this angle it would be the bottom. It's where that fly is climbing up. I put the bug zapper on, and he's kind of going crazy wanting to get to the bug zapper. It is sad that many of the flies, well not many, but several of the flies in here have damaged wings. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to be able to repair the wings or anything. Some more talking, I guess I could say that no matter how many times I mist in here, they always are thirsty. I could mist like every 30 minutes and there will always be flies going crazy trying to drink the water. One unfortunate thing is, though, grain mites need water. Grain mites will die within a few days if they have no water, and so they like damp environments. And one of the good things to do for black soldier flies is to expose them to damp conditions at least once a day. So I'm basically breeding mites along with black soldier flies, which I'm not happy about. I'm trying to fool myself into being optimistic, thinking that they will stay within a certain level of control, but I don't believe that will be the case in a few months. some people give them sugar water. One thing I noticed, if you give them sugar water or damp sugar, they will get stuck to it. They will get sugar all over their wings and their eyes and their legs, and you'll end up with sugar everywhere. And the flies seem to be pretty miserable when they're covered in sugar and they cannot get it removed from their body. So I saw it as kind of torture, actually. If there would be a way you could make little tiny things that they could just put their mouth on and not really put their legs on to get sugar water, then that would be great. But they kind of move around spastically sometimes. I've seen them do what looks like jump and flip at the same time. And so they would be randomly landing on sugar. No matter how you do it, really, at least their leg would end up in, if you have little holes like the size of their mouth, had a little indentation to where they would actually have to put their head down in it a little. They'd still get their legs on there because their legs are smaller than their mouth. But I'm mostly talking in this video because YouTube, I think, says that for the most part, if you want to monetize your videos, you need to be talking in your videos. So that's why I'm talking. I would love to get monetized. I would love to make a living, even if I was, having to eat really low quality, cheap, poor diet, but I could live off of just making YouTube videos. I would be so happy. So I mean, if anybody likes any of the videos in my channel, if you want to see more videos on black soldier flies or mealworms or game development, like online casino type stuff, I mean, if you like any of that, please let me know what you like the most. If you want to see like a 9-hour video of the larva eating that is not a time lapse, I can do that. If you want to see, I've already made like 10-hour videos of the flies flying around. You can check my channel for that. As far as the light that I'm using, I'm really not using proper light for black soldier flies. Unfortunately, the blue spectrum of my lights is just under 480 nanometers, and you really want between 480 nanometer blue up to 530 nanometers green, plus ultraviolet B, I think, and A or something. Of course, you don't want ultraviolet C because that's what causes sunburns and skin cancer and blinding of your eyes and all of that kind of stuff. If you're wondering, that white shape on the right top of the screen, that is cornmeal and corn flour that made into that shape. It's showing up white on the camera because I selected something dark to auto adjust the brightness. Well, I need to give my voice a rest, so I'm just going to let this keep recording for a while. Hopefully it doesn't do what I've had happen before, which is suddenly the phone will